celebrate the Red Blacks' 10th anniversary the best possible way, and that is by winning. This team is unbeaten here at home, 4-0, a 5-2 start, best in the young franchise history. And there's a lot of game breakers on both sides, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders looking to get back in the win column as well. And Dwayne, we look at big playmakers. Let's go to special teams, and the two top returners, two of them anyway, in the league. Mary Alford with Saskatchewan.
Yeah, absolutely. As we just heard Kate talking about what happens if we get kickoff returns for touchdowns. Well, the odds aren't bad tonight. Alford, of course, opened the game last week, got Saskatchewan off to a great start, returning the opening kickoff of the game for a touchdown. And Ottawa answering the challenge as Devontae Dedmon comes back into the lineup after being out for the last few weeks. They look to add his dynamic special teams presence to their attack.
Bob Dice, second full season with the Red Blacks, has them at 5-2. If they win tonight, that would be their 5th victory at home. They didn't win a single game at home 2 years ago. And for Corey Mace, little bump in the road. They had that 5-1 start with the Riders, but they've dropped their last 2 in Montreal and then at home against the Edmonton Elks last week. There is Mario Alford, who Dwayne talked about it. He got it started right, returning the opening kickoff for a touchdown against Edmonton. And he'll get his chance now to get this game started. It's in the hands of Alford. Up across the 30. 35 taken down by statistically the best coverage teams in the CFL, the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Shea Patterson gets the start tonight. I know a lot of talk this week about the possibility of a Trevor Harris return. He's not quite there yet, particularly on a short week. A tough challenge, but Patterson has done a credible job. Had his first 300-yard game in the loss to Edmonton last week,
where he went 22 of 38, 306, 2 touchdowns, 1 intercepted. Riders trying to end a 2-game mini skid here. And handing off, it's Frankie Hickson. They haven't missed a beat with the running game since the injury to A.J. Ouellette. Hickson in 2 starts, averaging over 100 yards rushing per game.
And hoping that can continue with some changes on the offensive line. Nick Jones becomes the 4th different right tackle to play for the Riders so far this season, Mississippi State product. And they've battled injuries in this receiving corps as well. Dante Myers steps in this week as Keyshawn Johnson is the latest Rider receiver to hit the injured list.
Watch for number 88, making his CFL debut. It's a 2nd and 5. It's Patterson to the left. It is caught by their leading receiver, Samuel Emilus, and a first down for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Emilus motions, ends up out wide. On this one, he's just going to sit down at that first down marker as coverage is backed off. Patterson, nice start in terms of taking what's given to him.
Quebec native, played his school ball at Louisiana Tech in his 3rd year with the Riders. First down, Saskatchewan. Looking for their first win in Ottawa since 2017. Back to Hickson, and coming in to stop the run nicely there on D. Damon Webb charging in, a defensive back to make that tackle.
And as we take a look at this Ottawa REDBLACKS defense, lots of attention given to those defensive ends, but they give a lot of credit for their success to Cleon Lang and Mike Wakefield on the inside. Frankie Griffin returns. Javon Santos-Knox is a guy that Bob Dice singled out as having really stepped up as a leader for that group this year. And in the secondary, starting to get some bodies back. Elijah McGee makes his first start of the season. He's going to play at the field corner tonight.
He played a couple of games for the REDBLACKS last year. 2nd and 9 after that short game. Throwing, and it's caught too. That is the first CFL catch for Dante Myers. And Dwayne talked about the addition he made with the injuries they've had at receiver.
Yeah, Myers lining up out wide, does a nice job winning the contested ball here. It's thrown into a little bit of traffic. You see pretty good coverage. Nice break to the ball by DeAndre Lamont on the corner, but strong catch in the hands by Dante Myers out of Delta State.
Delta State in Cleveland, Mississippi. First CFL catch. 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 48. Hickson, left side. Once again, good against the run. Cleon Lang is in there. You see Damon Webb again coming up to help support that run coverage for the REDBLACKS.
Yeah. And certainly that Ottawa defense is going to be focused with a young quarterback, relatively inexperienced quarterback playing for Saskatchewan. They want to make sure that they limit that run, force Shea Patterson to beat them.
It's been a real strength for Baron Miles in that Ottawa defense. up front. And as said, the last couple of plays we saw from the secondary, too, when Damon Webb coming into help. 2nd and 11. Ottawa 49. Opening possession. Thursday night in the nation's capital. Hicks takes the pass, and Davian Taylor, who done an excellent job coming in to fill in for Frankie Griffin, and comes in on that play and makes the stop to force the Riders into a long 3rd down.
Yeah, Ottawa going with a 3-man front here. They moved one of the inside linebackers, Javon Santos-Knox, up to the line. He was in on the blitz package on that one. That forces Taylor to track Hickson out on that swing. Does a nice job getting from the middle of the field out there to make a play on a pretty shifty running back.
2 good returners now with Khalil Pimpleton and what he did last week, and you got the veteran Devontae Dedmon back. Both of them are back. In fact, Dedmon's barely on the field in the right side, and Korsak puts it closer to the middle. It's picked up by Dedmon. So how about that in the return game? And off towards the sidelines, Dwayne, where you have Pimpleton at one side and Dedmon at the other. Dedmon takes it. Drew Brown, the pretty elite company now. These are the best record first 7 starts in the CFL history of Ottawa franchises, Rough Riders, Renegades included. Tom Clements, in his rookie year, what started 6-1 back in 1975. Brown is now next, starting at 5-2.
Yeah, and obviously the Ottawa REDBLACKS have sought stability at the quarterback position for the last few years. They've battled injuries, particularly to Jeremiah Masoli over that time, but you see what they're getting offensively as they starts with that stability from Brown.
He has steadily looked better. He's going deep right away, and it is well overthrown. The intended target down there, Khalil Pimpleton, but too far, so a 2nd and 10 is coming up.
And taking a look at that Ottawa offensive line, number 2 overall pick in 2022, Zach Peleos returns to the starting lineup at right tackle, University of Ottawa product. Justin Hardy, the most targeted Ottawa receiver, also leads the team in receptions, really emerging in his 3rd year with the REDBLACKS.
There is Hardy. He's been such a steady force on their offense this year. 2nd down and 10. Brown can settle in. He has time. He completes it 2 to Hardy. Favorite target. He gets it up close to the 30, but still well shy of a 1st down. It is a 2-and-out for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
Yeah, tough start there for Ottawa, but big for Saskatchewan certainly to get going that way, as you heard Jim Barker mention in the opening, coming off a tough defensive outing against Edmonton. They got gashed in the run game. They're down a couple of veteran defenders, particularly middle linebacker Jameer Thurman, but also Anthony Lanier at the D tackle spot.
Mario Alford back to get this punt from Richie Leone. And Alford at the 36. Not much room there to go after a 45-yard punt, well placed for the Riders. And the REDBLACKS New York Fries Thursday Night Football continues here in Ottawa. Look at Ottawa, Parliament Hill, and an interesting matchup to start Week 10 in the CFL with the 5-3 Riders with the ball now up against the 5-2 Ottawa REDBLACKS, who've yet to lose a game at home, 4-0. There's Shea Patterson in starting again. Been their quarterback since taking over for Trevor Harris back in Week 3. Takes the handoff, and he's dumping it off for Hickson, and Damon Webb is right there with Hickson. It falls incomplete, 2nd down.
And you have to appreciate the discipline on this play from an Ottawa perspective, because you're going to see a lot of misdirection here. If you watch, you're going to get the pulling tackle, and you're going to see Sean Bain come around. But Damon Webb does a good job staying with his man, staying at home, recognizing what's going on instead of getting sucked in by the motion that he saw in front of him.
2nd and 10, Riders at their 41. Pressure coming. Flushing at Patterson, who wanted to get rid of it to Hickson again and had to rush his throw. A bit to the side, it falls incomplete, so a 2-and-out for Patterson and the Riders.
Keep an eye again, Javon Santos-Knox, middle linebacker, gets mugged up into the line. They drop some out, but he's coming on the twist with Wakefield. Just beats his man. The offensive lineman was a little slow to react to the twist, allowing Santos-Knox to provide the pressure there.
This time just one returner back, Devontae Dedmon, for the REDBLACKS to take this punt from Adam Korsak. Last time around, they had 2 back there, Pimpleton as well. And Korsak off to the right for Dedman inside the 20. Devontae Dedman just takes it out at the 30 after a nice 51-yard punt by the Aussie Adam Korsak. Back to Drew Brown now. Ottawa football in a scoreless tie. Again, leads the CFL with 5 interceptions. No one else even has 4. And look at the knockdowns and what he does on special teams too.
Yeah, I mean, this has historically been a very difficult award for defensive backs to win, but Roland Milligan making as strong a case as we've seen in recent years.
He really has been a stalwart in that secondary and that entire Saskatchewan defense. Running the football this time, something that was a weakness only last week for the Riders against the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, this defense missing Anthony Lanier at the interior of that defensive line. You'll see a little bit more of Miles Brown in his spot. Shuffle at the linebacking positions with the loss of Jameer Thurman, also on the 6-game injured list. C.J. Avery goes to middle linebacker. The former Red Black Adam O'Clair starts at will. And at free safety, Nelson Lacombo settling in, another former high draft pick for the Riders, number 2 overall.
2nd and long. That one is complete. That's Dominic Rhymes, but it is shy of the 40, a few yards shy. He needed to get there for a chance at a first down. So another 3rd down coming up. And there is former Ottawa Red Black. The team that drafted him was Ottawa, but that's Adam O'Clair now getting his first start as a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, O'Clair, one of the free agents targeted by Saskatchewan this offseason. Versatile defender. Certainly saw some time in various packages in his time in Ottawa. And a guy whom I think was ready for an even bigger role, getting that opportunity now.
Leone the punt. Alford chased back inside his 20. He goes back to the left. He's taken down. What a beautiful special teams tackle. Alonzo Adai, their safety. And on teams, he comes in and he gets Alford down even further back.
Yeah, fantastic effort here by Alonzo Adai. Well-placed punt between the numbers and the sidelines, makes that coverage a little easier. Adai in his first full year as a starter here at safety for the Red Blacks. As you said, really chipping in on special teams as well. Big tackle there, leaving Saskatchewan with a tough start in terms of field position at their own 12-yard line.
After a 55-yard punt as well from Leone. So back, hemmed in deep, Shea Patterson and the green and white. 0-0 the score past the midway point of the first quarter. Quickly off to the right, and it is caught too by Sean Bain. And Bain has enough to move the sticks right away for Saskatchewan and buy that offense some space.
Yeah, big first down for Saskatchewan. We talk about it all the time. When you get this uphill battle in terms of field position, at the very least, you want to get a couple of first downs, move the sticks, swing things back in your favor a little bit in that all-important field position battle.
Bain had an explosive start to the season in Edmonton. His 3 touchdowns all scored in that one game, the season opener. 1st and 10 from the 26. Patterson, play action fake. And Lorenzo Malden, in his face, it is caught, but it's out of bounds. MLS, no catch. Good catch that it was, but Malden saw that such a touching feature by Dave Naylor in the preview show, but Malden getting in there and making life difficult for Patterson.
Yeah, led the league in sacks 2 years ago. Malden from his defensive end position. It's going to make life difficult. You'll see how he impacts the pass here. Just straight rush, nothing fancy, no stunt on the play.
See some rain coming down here at TD Place. It's a 2nd and 10, 26. It's high, and it's off the fingertips of Emilus. And it falls to the turf, and a 3rd down is coming up. You
saw Lorenzo Malden on that previous play, how him being in Shea Patterson's face obviously impacted the accuracy of the pass. This is what Malden has done this season, leading the league in quarterback pressures thus far. Also tied for 2nd in sacks.
Along with his teammate, Bryce Carter.
Yeah.
What a 1-2 punch that's been on the ends. That red black defense up front. So Korsak back. Here is 10. away at the 15, some heat on him as well as he does get rid of the ball. That's Dedman inside his 40. So better field position exchange here on those punts by the Red Blacks and then by the Riders as Dedman gets it up a little bit closer to midfield, up near the 50. Ottawa football. 0-0 the score.
Look at guys, my specialty is the return game, and he's going to get a touchdown. Sure enough, he lived up to his words. His first ever opening play kickoff return for a touchdown. That was his third career kickoff return touchdown, but as we know, that was his first ever to open the game. A dream start. And
Kenzie, it also gave him the most kick return touchdowns in the history of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He'd been tied with Corey Holmes, another great returners, and now standing alone is Alford in Rider history with 8. Here are the Red Blacks now. And that's Drew Brown throwing it to Rock Armstead. On that pickup, it'll set up a second and short.
That's pretty elite company that Mario Alford is in as he's down there in the rain. I'm sure Kenzie's enjoying that as well. But Alford, you know, Corey Holmes, this is a guy who, as primarily a returner, was a finalist for most outstanding player one year. Terrific special teamer and running back in his days with the Riders.
And that guy's no slouch either. Devontae Dedman, 6 return touchdowns in his career. Dustin Crum on the second and short is in at quarterback, and he's trying to trick him with a pass, and Nelson Lacombe was charging in, and it's Auclair, his ex-teammate, who takes Crum down. Just needed to get to about the 51 of the Riders. They didn't need much there, but looking for a little trickery. And it is a first down on what looked like a running play with Crum rolling out.
Yeah, a bit of a freebie, right? Because this is second and short rather than third and short, so they're going to take a little bit of a chance on it. Good reaction from the safety. Lacombe coming off the edge. Tracking down Crum, and frankly, a good decision by Crum not to try and force the pass. Take what was there and pick up the first down, keep this drive going.
And as you say, they did have a down to play with first down again. Rider 51. And it's whistled down with the start of the play.
Procedure. Ottawa number 65. It's 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
As announced by the referee Tim Croker, and penalty against Ottawa, the right guard Darius Bladek.
So the big bodies go out. They go back to their base 5 receiver set.
I don't know about you, partner. It looks like it's raining there.
It's not raining in the booth, Ron.
Oh, that's all that matters.
Weather's
right?
great in the booth.
I'm sure Kenzie's loving hearing that. So try to protect our TVs and equipment up here as Brown throws. And it is caught too and near another first down. Okay, Kenzie. Just how hard is it raining? We can see.
Yeah, this is quite significant, Rod. I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people were looking at the radars earlier thinking we're going to be okay, we're going to be okay. Not the case. This is coming down quite significant here. We've got players with some towels above their heads, making sure to wipe off their helmets and just trying to do their best to keep it going and stay active and stay warm.
And you stay dry.
I'll try my best.
Dwayne may not care, but I do. Armstead on the carry. They only needed a yard, and yeah, and again, they had it down to play with, but he didn't get much there on that short yardage play.
Yeah, Auclair looking to make an impact here against his former team. And you see him tripping up. The Red Blacks running back, Rock Armstead.
Adam Auclair, drafted and played a few years here in Ottawa. His first ever CFL start was 2 years ago against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. From the 42, Dustin Crum in again. He's not getting much. That's a wall. He ultimately gets pushed back. So how far is the furthest advancement? He needed a full yard. The Riders don't think he got it. He was pretty much greeted right at the line of scrimmage.
Big surge there from the Riders' defensive front.
It is a turnover on down. Saskatchewan football. Rider defense rises up.
Yeah, take a look. Micah Johnson's right in the middle of this. A terrific penetration. It looked like a couple of gaps, quite frankly, in the wedge of that offensive line that the Riders were able to take advantage of.
It's on 92. Caleb Sanders in there as well. So great work by the defensive front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, forcing the first turnover of this game. So Patterson back on up at the Rider 42. This is Ottawa been moving the ball. Saskatchewan now. Little toss inside on the sweep. It's Myers making his CFL debut. He had a catch earlier in this game, and Myers with that, I guess, short pass you'd call it, as he gets a good pickup on first down.
Yeah, there you see Myers, 88, approaching his quarterback, and he's going to hit this edge with some speed. Watch him drop the shoulder going into contact. That's receiver taking on the middle linebacker, Javon Santos Knox. A pretty good collision.
At 13 touchdowns at Delta State, Dante Myers. In his Rider debut, 2nd and 4, the 48, caught. Clint Ratkovich has it and has a first down for Saskatchewan.
And fullbacks we trust. Clint Ratkovich, occasionally used as a receiver. A couple carries for him this year as well. Nice job there. Free release to the flat, picking up the first down.
And his 4th catch of the season. He has had a couple of carries. Ratkovich, seldom used fullback, but a big one there for a first down right across midfield. They're at the Ottawa 54. They're still looking for the first points of this ball game. Handing off Hickson. Driving through, and a couple of yards there, but yards are hard to come by on the ground for Saskatchewan in this one.
Yeah, Frankie Hickson getting an opportunity to get in this lineup with A.J. Ouellette banged up a little bit, and he has made the most of the opportunity. You mentioned earlier, Roddy, averaging over 100 yards a game in those 2 starts, and the number that really pops is at almost 7.5 yards per carry for Frankie Hickson.
He really went off. We saw that a couple of weeks ago in Montreal in the first half. It was stunning to see how well he ran against that Alouette defense. Come here! Quickly caught, and it's right back to the new receiver Myers with Elijah McGee in his first game this season with the Red Blacks on him. And it's a 3rd and short, about 2 yards short for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the end of quarter number 1. All defense so far with some rain coming down at TD Place in Ottawa. The Red Blacks trying to, let's take a look at the top stat, the most important one, and you're not surprised to see the offensive numbers down a little bit as the defenses are taking charge. What's made an impression on you, Mr. Ford, in this first quarter of the game?
Well, I think one of the big things is that the Saskatchewan Roughriders D has kind of been up to the challenge. They had a difficult start in their last game against Edmonton. They went in as the league's top-ranked rushing defense and got shredded in that game for almost 300 yards on the ground. So missing some veteran guys, some veteran presence from that group, I think they've got to consider this a pretty good start. Not that Ottawa has necessarily tried to run a ton so far, but I think just showing that they are here for the battle tonight.
And then when it comes to special teams, Dwayne, we're seeing this 2-man formation for returning again with Khalil Pimpleton back on one side, near the sideline, and Devontae Dedmon near the other, trying to force Adam Korsak to punt it to the middle, sending it Pimpleton's way this time inside the 10. He had a punt return for a touchdown 2 weeks ago in the Red Blacks' last game here against the Calgary Stampeders. Trying to go 5-0 at home to start. It has been 55 years the last time an Ottawa CFL team started 5-0 at home. That was the Roughriders in the final year of Russ Jackson, by the way. And that franchise went on to face Saskatchewan in the Grey Cup. The Autostat in Montreal, and Ottawa won it in Jackson's final game. So it's been a while, and Bob Dice's Red Blacks have a chance to match that if they can beat the Riders tonight. Yeah, terrific reversal of fortunes for a Red Blacks team that, as you mentioned, had struggled here at home in recent years. Play action fake, and hit as he throws it is Drew Brown looking for Pimpleton, but the hit clearly affected the pass coming in. Caleb Sanders, and gets to Drew Brown. It goes incomplete. Yeah, Caleb Sanders, backup defensive lineman out of South Dakota State, is a guy that you're going to see a little more. And how about the strength? This is what we call a bull rush. Executed to perfection, just driving the offensive lineman. Got underneath them. was going to say he didn't hit Drew Brown.
Well, I was going to say, does Caleb Sanders get credited with the hit on the quarterback there?
The center hit Drew Brown. That's caught by Nick Martner, the rookie, with his first catch in this game, and he gets it up enough for a first down. But yeah, it was the center, Cyril Hogan-Sandon, who ended up hitting Brown in that previous play.
Quick hitter, Nick Martner, number 2 overall pick this season, Oakville, Ontario native.
Throwing again, caught Jalen Ackland. He had a touchdown in their last game against Calgary 2 weeks ago and has his first catch in this one. And it'll set up a 2nd and short as the Red Blacks are quickly moving out of deep in their own zone up to the 35.
Well, and we've seen a couple of 2nd and short situations. Dustin Crum making appearances with that short yardage unit, getting a little bit creative early on. Not this time.
Back to the ground game in Rock Armstead. Ottawa has not run the football much tonight, and it's a short pickup, but they didn't need much in that 2nd and short. Pick up a first down for the Red Blacks.
There's Ottawa's new offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell. Spent a number of years with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in that role. His 2nd coaching stint here in Ottawa, previously with the Renegades.
From the Ottawa 37, and sending it off for Pimpleton, and it just off the shoulder falls incomplete. There was a crowd about to converge on him.
And the veteran Marcus Sales recognizes this one, getting in quickly with the hit. Nice job there by Miles Brown as well from the interior of that defensive line to get a piece of that football.
Wouldn't have had much in that play by the looks of things anyway. It's a 2nd down and 10 from the Ottawa 37. He has time. Brown gets rid of it deep and too far. Closest receiver there was Hardy. A flag comes out as Brown is still down. Slow to get up. That flag down in the Red Blacks backfield.
Yeah, Drew Brown got hit down low here.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Saskatchewan number 90. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And this is what we describe as the hit outside of the strike zone. Above the shoulders or below the knees. You'll see Miles Brown come around. I'm not sure whether he was under his own power or if he kind of got not tossed in there, but Miles Brown, you can see Miles Brown kind of does a glute bridge there. He's trying to protect Drew Brown in his defense, but he goes airborne because he's trying not to get his own legs taken out when a couple of guys go down in front of him.
An awful sight. Drew Brown down, especially for the Red Blacks as Dustin Crum is warming up. We'll take a break and be back at TD Place in Ottawa right after this. 23. So part 2, Stamps Argos tomorrow at BMO, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. Ottawa quarterback Drew Brown heading off and able to do so on his own steam, but limping a bit after taking a hit. Dustin Crum is in. Crum handing off to Rock Armstead. Gets it across midfield. That's on a 1st and 10 as they moved up on the penalty against Miles Brown and that hit on Drew Brown. Another look.
Yeah, you see Miles Brown, number 90, coming around, and he's leaping to try to avoid getting his own legs taken out. He knows right away that he's fallen into Drew Brown's legs, and you see how he lifts up his butt there. He's trying to get off of Drew Brown's legs. Like, that's not a guy who's targeting the quarterback, trying to go after him or take him out. It's just an unfortunate thing that happens.
Earlier this season in Winnipeg, Brown got hurt. Crum came in, and he's got nowhere to go, but he doesn't go down easily. Nelson Lacombo had him wrapped up, and ultimately a sack for Lacombo. And a big play on 2nd down by the Rider defense.
Yeah, you'll see Lacombo, starting safety, coming from the outside here. Unblocked man. Whether that's a bust in protection or just something that Dustin Crum needs to recognize and get rid of the football.
So Mario Alford back for another punt by Leone. Lets it hit the turf, and oh, what a punt by Leone. Alford has to pick it up. He was hoping it would 1. Riders pin deep. CA to donate.
And terrific to see such great support for the cause here in Ottawa. Look forward to seeing Montreal and the other cities on the list rise to the challenge in the coming days.
Montreal just a couple of nights from now when the Alouettes have the rematch against Hamilton. There's Richie Leone with just a beautiful 55-yard punt. It just stopped on a dime. And Mary Alford was hoping it would roll into the end zone. So they start deep at the 2. Flag is out. And the pass is caught too by Emelis. And if this does stand up, it's a big first down for Saskatchewan to give themselves some space. But could it be against the Riders?
It looks like
offside, Saskatchewan number 15. Half the distance goal, remains first down.
The receiver, Sean Bain, off the mark a little early.
I guess the good news for the Riders is you go back half the distance.
Yeah, not much to give.
From the 2 to the 1.
Blood from a stone, Rod.
Exactly. So they were really deep before, and they're really deep now. And it's a 1st and 11 for Saskatchewan. Some heat is coming. Patterson gets rid of it. Oh, it just gets knocked away just nicely by Damon Webb, who's been all over the field so far this game. Webb with the play, and the 2nd and 11 coming up.
Yeah, it looks like this one might just fall into the window as you'll see Ajo make his break to the sidelines, trying to get to that one, but the flight of that ball interrupted by that deflection from Damon Webb,
who started his CFL career with the Saskatchewan Roughriders back in 2021. His 2nd year with the REDBLACKS. He's made some big defensive plays for Ottawa so far this young season. 2nd and 11. And the Rider 1. 4-man rush. With time, Patterson. Oh, nearly a huge play. Jared Stearns could not hang on. He slid down, but the ball arrived. A catchable football. And instead, the Riders are going to have to punt it from their end zone.
Yeah, you're going to see this one coming right at you. Shea Patterson sees the opening. You'll see Stearns going down the seam, throws him into an open spot. But just as he's having to leave his feet to get this one, see how it gets in to his face mask as he's on his way down. Unable to grab that one with his hands first, just in that position.
So Adam Korsak, close to 15 yards deep. Devontae Dedmon waiting in the Riders zone on the Riders side of midfield. Ottawa should have great field position on this exchange. At the 40, Dedmon, 35, 30, 25, 20, the ball is out. Ball is out. Looks like the Riders have it too. What a break for Saskatchewan as Dedmon had a big return going. Would have been a very short field, but instead it is Jordan Herdman-Reed on the fumble by Devontae Dedmon on this slick night in the nation's capital. Can't hang on to the football, and the Riders catch a break.
A big strip, and the Riders actually come out of this one with better field position than they had before the punt.
Dedmon had something going. Cozy Onyeka right there, forcing that fumble. I say they caught a break. They forced a break. They've been the best team in the CFL this season at forcing turnovers.
Well, and a big one. Onyeka was terrific for them on special teams last year, fighting to get on the roster this season.
So after all of that, it's as though the Riders got a first down before, because they started back at their 11 and a short gain on the ground for Frankie Hickson.
Given a second chance here. Huge special teams play. Riders looking to make the most of it. As you mentioned, Dedmon had a terrific return going. Already in field goal range.
With points at a premium in this game so far, we haven't had one. 2nd and 8. The Riders still deep in their zone at the 13, but they'll take it. A screen for Hickson, and it goes over his head. He was tied up with that one and turning around, and a flag comes out.
Offside, Ottawa number 6. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, there's a big penalty going against the REDBLACKS. Keeping the Riders on the field.
And we've seen Darius Pickett a couple times trying to time up blitzes. We saw that one. He's sucked in a little bit by the forward motion of the receivers in his peripheral vision.
So they move up 5. It's a 2nd and 3. Saskatchewan at their 18. Patterson to the right for a first down. Bain has it. Sticks will move. They get it outside the 20. And a big first down for Saskatchewan midway through this second quarter.
Shea Patterson using the whole field here. Tossing this one out to the wide side. You see the cushion that's being given Sean Bain outside by the defender. They sit off a little bit, so he's just going to sit at that first down marker. Game's all about time and space. It's a long throw, but with that much time for the ball to get there, they're able to convert.
At the 25, Frankie Hickson. And a better carry for Hickson as he gets it up across the 30, and a late flag flying out after Hickson, or just as he was being taken down. Still being discussed is Corey Mace, too, wondering what this flag is all about. And wants an explanation.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan number 61. It's 15-yard penalty. It's second down.
And that's the left tackle, Trevor Reed.
Yeah, keep an eye over here on the right side of the screen, sort of behind the play. Reed takes a shot at Kenny Onyeka, who was already down on the field on the play. So
well, that hurts. After a penalty had benefited the Riders earlier, it's a 2nd and 20 now. Saskatchewan back at their 15. With a 4-man rush. Patterson running at a time, off to the left and out of bounds. Closest receiver was Bain. 3rd down coming up. So under the circumstances before, it's still a dire scenario in terms of field position for Saskatchewan, but they'll be once again faced with punting deep, this time from about their goal line.
And once again, your middle linebacker, Javon Santos-Knox, has his nose right up there on the line of scrimmage, kind of spying things, an opportunity to get through to the quarterback. He takes it, makes the big hit.
And there he is, one of the dangerous returners in the CFL, just like Alford is for the Riders. You saw what Dedmon did the last time he got his hands on the ball before fumbling. Forsak with a single returner back. And Dedmon will take it at the 44 of Ottawa. 50, midfield. Here we go again. Down to the 40. And a flag comes out on that return as Dedmon had another good one after a 51-yard punt. But usually when a flag comes out on a big return, it can mean most often one thing against the returning team. We'll sort that out coming up at TD Place.
Has left the field, and so we see Dustin Crum now, and then Jeremiah Masoli also warming up here on the sidelines. But when we saw Drew Brown come off the field, he went straight to the medical table here, just in behind the bench, explaining to the trainers, pointing at that right shin, just above the ankle and his right knee area. He was able to leave the table on his own and walk on his own accord to the locker room, so that is good news. But at this time, we have no further update on Drew Brown.
Meanwhile, Kenzie, Dustin Crum calls his own number, and a quarterback draw is a good pickup for a first down. We know all about the running ability of Dustin Crum, Dwayne.
Yeah, certainly saw that on full display as Crum ended up as Ottawa's starter for much of last season and killed a couple of teams early with his surprising mobility. Good play to let him get a little bit of confidence to get going here.
From the Rider 47, scoreless tie, dumping it off to Armstead, and Amari Henderson comes in with a great open field tackle on the Red Blacks running it back. And there is Drew Brown. Heard Kenzie's report, and awful sight to see the young quarterback go down the way he did.
Well, we talked at the start of this game about much of Ottawa's success being tied to the little more stability, a little more experience at the quarterback position with the arrival of Drew Brown, and obviously him being healthy, quite frankly, as that had been the battle for Jeremiah Masoli over the last couple of years. Masoli, by the way, dressed as Ottawa's number 3 tonight.
On the 2nd and 11 is taken down. Malik Carney comes in, picks up the sack for the Riders. 2nd sack of the season for Carney.
Yeah, with the departure of Pete Robertson to BC in free agency, Malik Carney, the man brought in to supply a little pass rush. Great inside spin move there by the former Hamilton Tiger Cat to get home.
Still no points. 3rd and 21. And getting late in the first half, under 5 minutes now, with Leone to punt again. Mario Alford this time standing at his 10. Last time he let it drop. It rolled down with a 1. This time he takes it inside the 15 and has a return up to across the 25-yard line for Shea Patterson and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Alford. Tough stretch for Corey Mace. As the rain comes down here 2 weeks ago, they had a 16-3 lead against the Alouettes in Montreal, and it was a 17-3 Montreal score after that. Everything they did afterwards with a Davis Alexander on at quarterback, and Montreal ended up winning a close one, and then last week the loss to Edmonton at home.
Well, you know, Corey Mace is such an even-keel guy. You know, there were going to be some ups and downs in his first season as Riders head coach, and looking to guide the team through this particular rough patch.
From the Rider 26, it is caught and staying in is Bain. Sean Bain looked like he might just step out of bounds, had the first down, and makes a quick decision to take it up the field a little more, a gain of 20.
Yeah, you'll see this ball arrive to Sean Bain along the sideline. Watch DeAndre Lamont is kind of out of control. You see him stumbling as he comes in. At first, Bain is anticipating, I think, getting hit. He knows Lamont is closing. But a second goes by, he sees Lamont flash past him and realizes he can turn this one upfield.
Nice
get a few more.
Turn. Yeah, absolutely, by Bain.
We saw Shea Patterson take a little bit of friendly fire.
Handing off to Hickson. He's taken down. The middle linebacker, Javon Santos Knox, in on the tackle for the Red Blacks.
Patterson looking like he might have a little bit of a hobble there. Able to stay in the game with Trevor Harris still on the shelf. Patterson is the only Riders quarterback dressed for this game who has even thrown a pass in the Canadian Football League.
The other two, Jack Cohn and Eric Barrier. Yeah, you have to have a rep in the CFL. 2nd and 8. Throwing, intercepted. Santos Knox had the tackle before, has the pick now. Damn that drive to get Ottawa's offense on the field in the Riders' zone. And the first time the Riders turn over the football, and Patterson took another hit and is slow to get up.
Yeah, Shea Patterson is under siege on this one. You're going to see him take a shot from Bryce Carter as he throws this. Certainly some confusion in the receiving core as well. You see Carter coming from his usual defensive end spot. Just gets underneath the tackle. Jones beats him inside to deliver a shot. Now, a couple of Rider receivers pretty much collided with each other on their routes just to the near sideline side of where Santos Knox intercepted that ball. You know, I know it was something of a Hail Mary with Bryce Carter bearing down on Patterson, but I suspect that the confusion amongst the receivers contributed to how much that pass looked like it was thrown to no one.
So back to Destin Crum. Suddenly Ottawa ball. Crum trying to take off again. Dwayne talked about, known to run last year when he was thrown into the starter's job after several QBs were injured, and ran a lot back then.
Milestone birthday. You got to put the birthday hat on. Go, Chaz.
Happy birthday.
And here's your one slide. Happy birthday. I can't believe you're 40, Chaz.
Happy birthday,
Dear Davis.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ches. Or as Dwayne Ford would say, happy 65th, Chezzy. You don't look a day over 62. Setting up a screen. Jalen Ackland with the ball. Still on his feet. He broke through that and picked up but 5 more yards for Ackland on his second catch of the night.
Yeah, like the play call here. Get Jalen Ackland involved in the game, but also a play that high percentage pass allows Dustin Crum to get the ball out of his hands relatively quickly, as we've seen him under siege a few times, maybe a little bit hesitant to make the read and pull the trigger. This one, he knows where the ball's going. You get it to one of your best players, and Ackland definitely making the Riders pay on that one.
Down to the 31. Still no points on the board in this game. Ottawa's getting close to a chance. Crum off Ackland again, and that time stopped right at the 31. Let's take another look at the interception, though, that gave Ottawa the football, thrown by Patterson.
Yeah, and I want you to really watch the number 2 and 3 receivers on this play. That's Samuel Emelis and Jareth Stearns. Almost come together. They're a little tight on their routes, as you see the two of them almost collide right here. It looks like that throws off Stearns' time in getting to the middle of the field. Badly thrown ball from Patterson, and why wouldn't it be, as he's getting buried by Bryce Carter. But just don't think he was just blindly throwing the ball up the middle. He's expecting Stearns to be there. And the reason why he wasn't was just an issue with the two routes.
2nd and 10 at the 31. Deep look from too far for Khalil Pimpleton as it lands down just inside the Rider end zone. Now a 3rd down is coming up, and Lewis Ward is coming on to attempt the first points of this ball game.
Yeah, Pimpleton going to use that waggle and attack the middle of the field. Just a slight overthrow there. You saw Roland Milligan closing on him as well.
Lewis Ward 4 for 4 last game against Calgary. 25 of 27 overall with the longest of 51. This will be a 38-yard try to be held by Richie Leone. Just inside the right hash for Lewis Ward. No! Blocked! Still no points in the board. The Riders blocking. Heads out of bounds. Saskatchewan football. 2:07 to go until halftime. When will we see a point in this game?
A massive play on special teams here. Corey Mace, a former interior defensive lineman, is going to love that one. Initially looked like it was Miles Brown, number 90, who gets a hand on this, but we'll take a closer look. He's right in front of number 35, CJ Avery. Well, Caleb Sanders, Miles Brown, the two of them together. They split that gap. It's Caleb Sanders, who got there first.
The two of them getting their arms up on the Lewis Ward kick. Sanders with the block. Up to the 50, 1st and 10. Can the Riders get some points before halftime? Emelis takes it. And once again, coming in with the tackle in the open field is Damon Webb. And a loss of a yard for Saskatchewan.
Well, Damon Webb very active in the first half of this ball game. So nice job here, just keeping leverage until he knows he's got Emelis close enough to the sideline that he can attack on that one. There you saw Caleb Sanders celebrating on the sideline.
2nd and 11, Rider 49, under 2 minutes till halftime. It's caught. It's the new receiver, Myers. New to start anyway in his CFL debut as he gets it down to the Ottawa 41, a pickup of 20 for Dante Myers.
Myers showing some speed after the catch here. Lines up out wide. He's going to work underneath. And then gets north-south in a hurry, which is what allows him to beat that first defender. No juking back towards the line of scrimmage. Just go get that first down. Good decision.
He has 4 catches for 35 in his first half. Throwing again. It's intercepted again. A high throw, and it is taken by Elijah McGee. His first game of the season, as it's Patterson to knock him out. And how about that from McGee? With a big interception and a minute 16 still to go until halftime.
I'll take a look at the pocket. Right here. Patterson's got time. Overthrow. Saw the receiver go. Bain leaps, goes up, tries to get that one. But over his outstretched fingers, Elijah McGee playing in behind, more than happy to grab that one. Patterson with a point-saving tackle there.
Give him the hammer. From Minnesota State Mankato, Elijah McGee played sparingly last year, a couple of games, and was supposed to be a starter in the corner, but got hurt. First game tonight. He's got himself a pick. Here's Crum. And an open receiver down inside the 10 is Dominic Rhymes. So suddenly, turnover, big strike, Red Blacks knocking on the Riders' door with a minute 9 to go until halftime.
Well, watch the confusion being created in the backfield. This is Jalen Ackland in all kinds of motion in the backfield, drawing some attention there. The linebackers suck up thinking it's probably going to be some sort of receiver run with Ackland's motion. That creates that open space in behind the linebacker level in front of the DBs for Dom Rhymes to come up with that big grab.
So we ask the question again. Did we finally see some points on the board? Ottawa's hoping so. First and goal. Brock Armstead feeling his way through, trying to get down closer to the 5. So manages to squeeze out about 3 yards on that play. Second and goal coming up. Just 35 rushing yards for the Red Blacks on this night.
And you almost feel a little bit of a pressure from an Ottawa point of view to get some points here, to make the most of the opportunity. The way points have been not just difficult, but impossible to come by so far in this ballgame.
Second and goal at the 6, looking to the left, putting it out that way to Armstead. At the 7, nowhere to go. Oh, the Riders are all over that. CJ Rivas is there, number 1. Had some help as well to force a 3rd and goal, as the field goal unit will come on again.
And you're going to see Armstead basically is just going to bubble out of the backfield. You see CJ Rivas right here from his nickel linebacker position, tracking this one, beats a block to get into the backfield and go get in on the play. Great pursuit to the football right there. 5 Riders run into the ball.
So Nelson Lacombo and Marcus Sales going low there, and Lewis Ward is back out. Last try, blocked. This time, it's up, it's through, and lo and behold, there is some scoring in this football game, and it took a big turnover to set up the Red Blacks in order to get it. 3 on the board. Ottawa, the first leader in this game, with 22 seconds to go until halftime.
Yeah, big connection there. Dustin Crum getting the ball over the top to Dominic Rhymes, setting up the Red Blacks in scoring position.
Kate, Jim Barker, Enoch Mwamba, and the birthday boy, Chezzy. Happy birthday, Chez. I stand corrected. I was a little too high in my estimate there. Chezzy says he's about 35. He retired early, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Chez has been 35 as long as I've known him.
I've learned over time, if you find a good number you like, you stick to it. He's working on his birthday. Halftime coming up. Interesting half, low scoring, yes, but it's had interesting moments here. Handing off to Hickson. I mentioned the rushing totals for the Red Blacks being meager. It's the same story for the Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. A far cry from last week, or certainly the week before in Montreal, when Frankie Hickson really went off.
I don't think Hickson's going to catch anybody off guard, particularly after his first couple of appearances at 2024.
He has 8 carries for 18 yards. That's it for Frankie Hickson. Second and 7 now. Tom winding down. Caught! Bobbled, but Bain, yeah, he caught it twice. And at 7 seconds, down to the 45. Could there be time for a field goal try for the Riders?
Yeah, great response and execution here from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Looking to even the score before halftime. You see the concentration of Sean Bain to stay with that one.
Well, the ball is down to the 45, just seconds left in the clock. The Riders call a timeout. So we'd be looking at about a 52-yard try for Brett Loeffler. He tried 2 longer ones in Montreal 2 weeks ago. And one of them hit the upright. I believe the other one hit the crossbar. One was from 57, the longest one he tried this season. And didn't have quite enough on that one. He did on one that I believe it was 53 against the Alouettes, and that one was long enough, but it hit the upright. This would be, as mentioned, about a 52-yard try. But still, time to run a play. 1st and 10, 7 seconds on the clock. Something quick to get them a little bit closer and see if they can be tied up at halftime. Patterson quickly to the right. Bain out of bounds with plenty of time to spare for Loeffler, and they do indeed move it that much closer and give their kicker a better chance.
Yeah, this is the kind of play that you actually like seeing your young backup quarterback have the opportunity to make, is managing situations and seeing how they respond, how they execute. Right here, you're just looking to get a few more yards, get the clock stopped, quick out, basic play, perfectly executed by the Riders. Good clock management to set up the field goal attempt here before halftime.
5 big yards because it ends up being a 47-yard try for Brett Loeffler, who is 19 to 25, longest of 49. Going to be tied at the half. It is indeed. You get down to the final minute, there's still no points on the board, and then a couple of quick field goals and a 3-3 tie. This is like a scoring explosion.
They've broken this game wide open, Ron.
Suddenly 6 points on the board, 3 per side. But yeah, Darius Pickett, defenses very strong in that first half.
Yeah, and you know, strong teams are going to go into the room, make some adjustments, come out with a little bit different look, but doesn't get any closer through 30 minutes as we see the newly booted ankle of Drew Brown.
Had it twisted on a play back in the first half. Had to leave as Dustin Crum came in. So looks like Crum the rest of the way, as Ottawa will get the ball first. By the way, Crum did get in some action in Winnipeg a month ago after a first half hit knocked Drew Brown out of the game against his old team. Brett Loeffler kicks it off. And Darius Pickett's back there with Devontae Dedmon. Dedmon has it. And he is pushed down. Just a pack coming in. It's Haka Baldonado, global player on special teams, who pushed a couple of Red Blacks players right into Dedmon to knock him down.
Well, this is how you take on the wedge. Baldonado taking a page from the Caleb Sanders school of pass rush. Just drives the blocker back into the ball carrier.
You don't have to get to the one with the ball. Just get to somebody close to him.
That's it.
Let them do it.
Big play there.
Baldonado, a native of Italy, and a special teamer in the Saskatchewan Roughriders with the play there in the opening kickoff of the second half. Brock Armstead, mentioning the running game not going well for anybody. Armstead had 5 carries for 14 yards, and that includes the longest of 7 in the first half.
Well, we talked with Saskatchewan head coach and defensive coordinator Corey Mace this week after the loss to Edmonton. 274 rushing yards given up by Saskatchewan in that game. He talked a little bit about maybe some discipline being lost in that game in terms of guys staying in lanes and so on. 2nd and 6, Crum. And the closest to it is Rhymes, but that hits the turf well before it gets to number 15. 3rd down coming on now at 2 and out on the first possession for the Red Blacks in this second half. Well, just to finish that thought, you kind of knew that Saskatchewan was going to be more disciplined defensively in this game, and we've seen that. A few misdirection type plays that Ottawa has tried to run that the Riders aren't biting on. People are staying in the gaps they're supposed to stay in, and it's contributing to them being very effective against the run thus far. Richie Leone to punt. Mario Alford back for it. Takes it about the 24. And more good coverage. As said statistically, a Darius Pickett there after a 51-yard punt
statistically, the Red Blacks have been the best team in the CFL in terms of punt and kick coverage.
Yeah, and you have to love the work of Darius Pickett. This is a guy who's the outstanding defensive player in the league last season, but doing just a tremendous job out there leading his team on specials as well. Guy willing to play all 4 specials if need be, anything to help the team, setting the tone for his group.
Came into the night leading the Red Blacks with 8 special teams tackles. Has one there. 1st and 10 from the 26. Running the ball to the right and coming in.
And he's doing it on D.
Hitting him hard is Pickett. On Frankie Hickson.
You'll see on this play that Pickett is backing out in coverage. He had sort of started to bail out on this side, and he recognizes it's run, and he's just coming straight downhill to meet Frankie Hickson as close as he can to the line of scrimmage. Big collision there between a couple of tough ball players.
Feel that collision up here. 2nd and 7. Patterson steps up, still throws. Oh, nearly completes it too. Right off the fingertips of Ajoa Joe. 3rd down coming up. How do you start a party? I know how Dwayne Ford would. Something like this.
I'm just inviting Darius Pickett. Lowering the boom. Red Blacks happy to have their linebacking core back intact with the return of Frankie Griffin, who you saw joining Pickett on that tackle.
Someone Corey Mace, by the way, the opposing head coach, knows very well. Mace, of course, the defensive coordinator in Toronto last year when the top defensive player in the East, as voted, was linebacker then Darius Pickett. The punt by Corsack. Now that's Dedman inside the 30. Trying to make something out of it. And coming in again is Jordan Herdman-Reed after that 54-yard punt. 3-3 the score. 2nd half here in Ottawa. If you're wondering why Drew Brown is out of the game, here again is what happened in the first half.
Yeah, just got caught in a bad spot after he threw the ball. Miles Brown trying to avoid other bodies on the ground. Ends up rolling into Brown's leg. Obviously a lower leg issue as we see him now with that boot on the sideline.
So Dustin Crum in. He's 5 for 7 for 43 yards. Starting this drive at the 36. To the right. It's caught. Justin Hardy. Across midfield. That a quiet game so far as most offensive players have. Well, there's a big 1st down and a pickup of 20 for Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy, the middle receiver. In that trips formation towards the right side. Out to the field. Curls around. Watch him come back to the football on this one into the hole. Catch it in his hands, tuck it, tuck the shoulder, get upfield. Textbook work there from Mr. Hardy.
2nd catch. Now it's 22 yards receiving. And Brian Cox says, simmer down there to Rock Armstead as he holds him up and puts him down.
Yeah, as the tough sledding in the ground game continues. Brian Cox doing a nice job off the edge for this Riders D. Sheds the block there. You see him wrap up, wrestle the ball carrier to the ground.
Brian Cox Jr., his father, of course.
Yeah, his dad,
great career as a linebacker in the
dad
NFL.
was all right.
His dad did okay. 2nd and 8. The 52. Crum runs out of it. Scrambles, and he takes a pop from Marcus Sales, but not before he picks up another 1st down for Ottawa. A pickup of 13 yards on the ground for Dustin Crum.
Yeah, with one quarterback already out of the game, you may want Crum to get down a little earlier on this, but you know, he has some pretty good instincts running, even if he didn't see Marcus Sales coming for him on this one. Nice pickup there. Crum over 700 yards last season. Average over 7 yards a carry for the Red Blacks.
Back to throw, as he does, and it's for Khalil Pimpleton. Looks like it went in and out, and Pimpleton still sitting down and favoring what looks to be his right hand, and looks to be heading off too. Yeah, he's needs his sub. Khalil Pimpleton, excuse me, left hand. by the looks of things, as he takes a knee.
Yeah, Pimpleton goes to the ground to try and get that one. I'm not going to look too closely, as I suspect that there may be a digit pointing somewhere other than where it should be.
An immediate discomfort where he slid down and was not able to hang on to the football. So a 2nd and 10 coming up, but get some attention from the medical staff as he walks off the field for at least 3 plays. And the rookie Nick Martner coming on to replace him.
Pimpleton has been such a sensation since his arrival here in Ottawa.
You're right. Like he was going to get a little assistance with a digit there on his left hand.
Drastic difference here as we go from the 5'7" Pimpleton to the 6'6" Nick Martner in that receiving corps.
2nd and 10, Rider 41, Ottawa football. Crum stands in, wants to take off to the right, being chased by Roland Milligan, but he gets away, and he picks up some more valuable real estate close to a first down. It is a pickup of 11 yards for the Red Blacks quarterback.
This is one of the things that has always stood out about Dustin Crum when he runs the football is how strong he is on his feet as a runner. You're going to see an arm tackle, a grab of the jersey isn't going to bring him down. Big body, very powerful runner.
He went into training camp a year ago 4th in the depth chart behind Jeremiah Masoli, Nick Arbuckle, and Tyree Adams. And after Masoli got hurt in week 5, Crum came on and nearly led the Red Blacks back to a victory down to the last seconds in Hamilton. Armstead. And a better carry to the right to get it inside the 25. And for Crum, after that, his next 2 starts were dramatic overtime victories where we saw him run a lot. Ended up starting a lot of games for the Red Blacks last year.
Yeah, 200-pounder. Dustin Crum, terrific college career at Kent State. Mid-American Conference MVP in 2022.
And mentioned the injury last year and the only appearance for Jeremiah Masoli. Just saw him there talking to Drew Brown. Masoli 3rd in the depth chart for this one tonight. That one's thrown and caught. Daniel Oladejo on the receiving end, and a flag is out. And that catch, first one of the night for Oladejo, will it stand?
Holding, Ottawa number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
No, it will not. The left tackle, Dino Boyd, is flagged for a hold.
This one coming back. Daniel Oladejo out of University of Ottawa. Keep an eye on here on the left tackle. Dino Boyd into the line. See him get the hands wrapped around a little bit on Lake Corte Moore. Local guy, Ottawa guy. In for a visit with the Riders, getting a chance to play in front of his friends and family.
From the Rider 33 and a 2nd and 13. 4-man rush. Crum escapes, tucks it in, takes off, inside the 20. And finally it's Rivas making sure he goes down, but another first down on the legs of Dustin Crum. 15 more yards. And this is Crum doing what Crum does so well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to think, you know, in the big game last week, in terms of rushing yards allowed by Saskatchewan, yeah, I think there's some feeling that they may have been a little bit undisciplined out of concern of the running threat of Trey Ford at quarterback for Edmonton.
Looking quickly to Hardy, and that falls incomplete.
You know, and they wanted to get back to basics this week, being a little bit more disciplined. You're preparing for Drew Brown, who's a different kind of quarterback, and now all of a sudden you've got the runner back in there, as you've almost kind of said. We don't need to play differently when the runner's in there, as we did last week, and let it get in our heads a little bit, I suspect. And Dustin Crum has gashed him a couple times here.
Certainly has. He's thrown for 63. He's run for 58 on nearly as many yards. 10th play of the drive is coming up here now. And they're in the red zone, down with the 18 of the Riders. 3-3 tie. Crum wants to pass, runs out of time. He wanted to pass, but he can't find it. He wants, so he takes off again. And he gets hit just as he was heading out of bounds.
And you will remember from last season, self-preservation is not high on the list of things running through Dustin Crum's mind when he takes off with that football. He gets launched there by Amari Henderson on his way out of bounds.
On his way out, but still inbounds on that one, and the hit by Henderson. So Lewis Ward, his first attempt was blocked. Then his second one in the final minute of the half was good. This is a 22-yard try to give the Redblacks the lead again. Blocked again. Second time of the night. They're getting their heads up in the middle of the line. Was that Sanders again? He had one. This has been a nightmare on special teams for the Redblacks, who have seen 2 kicks blocked. Hands up. Works again. Denied by the green and white. And it remains a 3-3 tie here in the third.
Look back at this most recent blocked field goal. The buttocks that you see just inside the right goalpost belong to Miles Brown, the man of the moment, denting that offensive line, getting a hand up. And here he is. Just over the nose, you can see the 0 of his jersey. See how he drives back the man in front of him, dents that line, gets a piece of it. Big play to take points off the board.
Taking 6 off the board, possibly for the Redblacks. Ellis with the catch, too. Quickly, Patterson goes to him up across the 30, and a first down for the Riders.
Yeah, I have memories of words echoing in my head from early in my career. Tom Higgins was our D-line coach in Calgary, and in special teams meetings all the time, one of the things he talked about was on field goals and extra points, not taking those plays off. And he would always end it by saying, you know, talking about, let's dent the line. We're going to get one. We're going to get one. And that's it. You go hard on all of them. You're going to get some before the year's out. 2 tonight for the Riders.
Well, they're getting their fair share. Joe, oh, it's in the hands of Alonzo Adai. It looked like it went incomplete. Adai with the ball. A turnover by Saskatchewan. Got to have another look and see what happened here as the Riders take this ball back.
Yeah, Joe has the in route here. And as he looks like he's thinking about making a move before he has possession of the football. That one tipped off his hands. You can see clearly Alonzo Adai gets the hands underneath this one for a big INT.
His second interception of the season goes down near the field, but hangs on, gets up untouched. Ottawa football.
One big play on special teams, quickly followed by another one on defense. Alonzo Adai's safety for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Staying focused on that ball after it goes off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Joe. His second interception of the year has the Redblacks in immediate scoring position.
So Ottawa, after having another field goal try blocked, immediately get it back in that interception. And Crum is looking to the end zone for Hardy. Coverage is there by Sales. Right with him, stride for stride. And great work there by the Rider corner, Sales.
Yeah, Marcus Sales. Nice pickup for Saskatchewan at the end of training camp after he was let go by the BC Lions. But a nice fit, playing halfback most of his career, but taking over at the field corner spot here for the Riders. Perfectly positioned on Justin Hardy on that play.
Started his career in Winnipeg, had some good years with the BC Lions, who let him go in training camp, and he signed on with Saskatchewan. 2nd and 10 at the Rider 21. Ottawa in scoring position again. See what they do with Crum. With someone in his face, he gets rid of it. Amari Henderson nearly had himself a beautiful interception right down at the turf, but it's incomplete. 3rd down coming up.
A big 2nd down play there from the Saskatchewan Roughriders defensive line. You see big Micah Johnson going to work to get in the face.
And so Crum just 1 for 6 here in the second half. Is, well, take nothing for granted right now. I'd normally say there's a chip shot for Lewis Ward at 28 yards. But he's had 2 of his 3 kick attempts blocked. Watch for Sanders and Brown. Up it goes. Can't take it for granted tonight. But Ward goes 2 for 4 in the field goal department. Although a flag is out in the red-black backfield. We'll sort
finding his ways here tonight, and the second half has been an advantage for the Red Blacks. You look at their last 6 games, and the Ottawa Red Blacks have never been outscored in the second half.
Kenzie Bob Dice speaking very glowingly about the input that Colonel Gasparotto has had, the influence he's had on that team. By the way, there were coincidental penalties, if you will. So it does start at the 40. That field goal is good by Ward. It is a 6-3 Ottawa lead. This low-scoring affair in the nation's capital. Saskatchewan ball, Jared Stearns. He has it. And on that short pass and good yards afterwards, gets it up near a first down around the 50 for the Riders.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if the Riders stay with this kind of play. Little play action, quick hitter, get the ball out of Shea Patterson's hands early. Get it into the hands of their playmakers, let them get some yards after the catch. Take a little bit of the pressure off of Shea Patterson. Let the receivers make the plays.
And they have it down to play with here. It is second and about a foot away as Patterson stays in. Short yardage team in. Drives right. Jumping in to take him for a loss. The Red Blacks. What a play by Pickett, who's had a few big ones here in the second half. But Darius Pickett shot in like he knew it was coming. And we go from second and short to third down and punting.
Absolutely monstrous play from Darius Pickett coming from the right side of your screen. Again, East Division most outstanding defender last year. And I'll give him lots of credit for the play for coming downhill in a hurry, but that's a mistake in the blocking scheme. He got missed.
Korsak, the lower punt, hits the turf, takes a bounce down to the 20, trying to draw the no yards is Devontae Dedman, who does get the extra 15 yards as he just waited it out. But Darius Pickett, we saw him to start the half in special teams, big hit on defense, and then a big play here.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 32, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Fantastic effort by Darius Pickett. Setting the tone here in the second half for Ottawa. And this is a lot of the reason why they brought him in. Guy coming over from a 16-2 Toronto team last season. Obviously a tremendous year himself. See his numbers so far this season. Looking for a little more leadership, positivity, a little bit of swagger, quite frankly, on the defensive side of the ball, and Pickett certainly supplies that.
He does, and Dominic Rhymes too, a leader brought in on offense, and good additions there for the Red Blacks. Pickett certainly has been, and there's Rhymes on the catch. Second leading receiver coming in for the Red Blacks in this one. Very productive seasons in BC.
Yeah, and Dom Rhymes talked to us a little bit this week about the conversation he and Darius Pickett had, quite frankly, about being leaders on this team as new guys coming in and changing the attitude a little bit. And you know, Darius Pickett, Dom Rhymes said, Dom, you take the offense, talk to the offense, get him on track. I'll look after the defense and special teams. And he has certainly done that here tonight.
From the Ottawa 39 and a 2nd and 7. Crum throwing, bobbled and dropped ultimately. We saw Khalil Pimpleton need some attention on that left hand. It looks like he was holding it again. It looks like he's favoring it again. One finger in a splint as he's heading off the field, and he bobbled that one and again could not hang on.
Yeah, as he's trying to get a hold of this one, he just gets lit up by Roland Milligan. Just as he thinks he's finally got the ball, Milligan has another idea, separates him from it.
See the wrap on his left ring finger, and he heads off. Punting unit heads on. Leone does get rid of it for Alford. Takes a hop. Alford did this before. This time he gets the result he was looking for. The roll into the end zone to give up the point and make it a 7-3 game. The last time he tried that in the first half, it ended up lying right at the 2-yard line. Let's get an update on Shea Patterson now from Kenzie.
Yeah, Rod, hands seem to be very much a topic of conversation here. Shea Patterson, after taking that big hit, head off to the sidelines and seemed to be bleeding on his right throwing hand. And so he just saw medical attention here, whether it's a quick Band-Aid, a quick spray, but just favoring that right hand a little bit. Did a few throws here on the sidelines and now back with the group and out on the field now. But we'll keep watching to see his hand. He's been taking quite a few hits tonight here, so he's powering through.
It's been a tough night, Kenzie, with the weather being what it is. And these defenses, especially with all the tough hitting, it's a hard night on quarterbacks. And he hasn't made it any easier, has he? Darius Pickett. It was an 80-yard punt, by the way, with that roll by Leone. So they got the Rouge. It's a 7-3 Ottawa lead now. Saskatchewan ball, though, in a much more favorable place, starting at their 40 for Patterson. Quickly off to Ratkovich, the fullback, Clint Ratkovich, with his second catch of the night. He picks up about 5 more yards.
Darius Pickett at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, in coverage. Pretty good chance he's going to be involved in the play.
Started his career with the Montreal Alouettes in 21 and 22. Signed as a free agent with the Argos in 23. East nominee for Defensive Player of the Year, and a free agent again, moving over to Ottawa. Patterson 2nd and 4 after Ratkovich in that 6-yard pickup at the Saskatchewan 46. Riders trailing by 4. 4-man rush with time. Deep left. Coverage is there. Elijah McGee was right with Samuel Emilus. Step for step. Knocks it down. 3rd down coming up.
And it looked on this one like the throw might have just been a split second late, allowing McGee to close and make a play on the football. You see it hang up there a little bit. Emilus with a step in behind the Ottawa defender. McGee already with an interception, and this one got his hands on that one as well.
Started the season in the 6-game injured list. This is his first game of the season tonight. He's had an impact. I mentioned that pick earlier. Punt by Corsack and off the hop. That was taken by Dedman with no room to run. Roland Milligan right there to greet him. From the creator of Letterkenny, don't miss new episodes of hilarious and hard-hitting comedy sensation Shoresy. Stream now, only on Crave. Back here at TD Place in Ottawa, Rod Smith, Dwayne Ford, Kenzie Lalonde, in a low-scoring, hard-hitting game between the Riders and the Red Blacks. 7-3, Ottawa leads it. The Red Blacks trying to improve to 5-0 at home, something that hasn't been done by an Ottawa CFL team since the old Roughriders of 1969. The Riders trying to end a mini losing skid. They've lost 2 in a row after starting the season at 5-1. From the Ottawa 17, handing off to 17, and a rare carry for Devontae Dedman. We've seen that from time to time, having him line up in the backfield, but that is a loss of 2.
Yeah, Dedman actually listed on the depth chart this week as the backup running back for Ottawa. Getting some touches there. Of course, he wasn't on the roster 2 weeks ago when the Red Blacks last played. Raquel Armstead ejected from that game. Braylon Addison ended up having to take some reps at running back. Addison on the injured list this week. But a little limited in terms of options at the running back position right now.
He stays in to protect. And there's not enough protection by Ottawa for Dustin Crum, who is sacked. Taken down by C.J. Avery, their first year. Weak side linebacker is actually starting in the middle for the injured Jameer Thurman. So he comes in. He gets the sack. Ottawa has the lead. Saskatchewan about to get the ball back. Talking a lot about defensive players tonight, including those who made some big plays on special teams. There's a good reason why. That's that's been dominating the headlines in this game so far.
Yeah, it's been the tone of the game for both teams. Really, Ottawa, I don't know, you might say taking a little bit of a hold of this game. It's a relative term in what remains obviously a very close and low-scoring game. But it just seemed like Ottawa was the more active team, both offensively and defensively, in that third quarter.
Bob Dice, Corey McDermott, the special teams coach, and the highlights for the Riders in this game, certainly defensive highlights, but on special teams, they blocked 2 field goal tries by Lewis Ward that could have made it a 6-point difference. 6 more points on the board for the Red Blacks that didn't happen. So special teams to start the quarter with Richie Leone punting to Mario Alford, who takes it at midfield. And he's knocked down just inside the 50. He was popped. Hit pretty hard there. Gary Johnson, ex-Saskatchewan Roughrider, in there on the special teams tackle. But the Riders will have a good place to start as they start the quarter trailing by 4.
As Shea Patterson remains in the ball game at quarterback. We'll take a look at the special teams work of Gary Johnson. Coming in low, wrapping up. Bring down the elusive Mario Alford.
Riders start the quarter in need of generating some offense here. Frankie Hickson. Yards at a premium on the ground for both of those teams, and that theme just continues. The running theme. Running defenses, and very little for Hickson on that play.
Yeah, Frankie Hickson took this handoff with some speed, accelerated to the line. Just hit something of a brick wall in the form of the Ottawa defense. There's its architect, Baron Miles.
Hickson,
outstanding DBs in the history of this league.
Oh, he certainly was. Hall of Famer. Hickson, 21 yards. That's it on 10 carries. Throwing. Patterson. Oh, it's caught. Beautiful throw. And Mitch Picton has his first catch of this game. And it's a big one for the Riders. Down to the Ottawa 25.
Yeah, Mitch Picton has become the senior member of this Rough Riders receiving corps. So reliable, University of Regina product. Now in his 8th year in green and white.
Plays beautifully just beyond Damon Webb as Picton went up for it, and that Patterson likes that. Big offensive play to Mitch Picton. So down to the 25 of Ottawa. Here come the Riders. To the right, that's caught. Down closer to the 20. That's for Samuel Emelis, so pick up of 4 more yards for the Riders.
You may have just seen the graphic there on Mitch Picton. Speaking of University of Regina products, there's one of the great quarterbacks in their history, Mark Mueller, now the Rough Riders offensive coordinator, doing a tremendous job in his first year in that role.
A chance to come home after really cutting his coaching teeth with the Calgary Stampeders. Their OC, 2nd and 6. Saskatchewan, the 21, near the first down marker. And that is caught. It's complete, and it is just shy of a first down. It's Dante Myers, who's playing his first ever CFL regular season game with that catch.
Yeah, Myers lined up out wide here, is just going to get up to the first down marker. Again, corner is sitting off. Offense is taking what they're given, but this one going to be marked just short of a first down. The big boys are in the game.
They are, and the last time they were in this situation in the third quarter, Darius Pickett shot out and took Shea Patterson for a loss. They go straight ahead, but they're not getting much. Needing to get to the 15, and it doesn't look. If the Riders got it, it would be barely. Again, as always, see the spot of the ball, but he was pretty much met with a red-black wall. Ottawa likes the spot. It's a first down and a turnover on downs. As the Riders again, in short yardage, cannot get it done. This time a slight.
Just love the shot straight down the line on these short yardage plays to kind of see who's winning the line, who's getting into the other team's territory. And here you can see it's the black jerseys of Ottawa coming across that line far more than the white jerseys of Saskatchewan. You know, a Saskatchewan offensive line that, in fairness, has been hammered by injuries. 4 different starters at right tackle, 3 different onto their 3rd different starter at left guard this season.
It's Rock Armstead. And that's Sanders. He's had a big game and takes him down for a loss. As both defensive fronts have just been ruthless on the running games of these teams.
And Caleb Sanders. All too frequent a presence in the Red Blacks backfield here tonight. He is the man who blocked one of those Lewis Ward field goal attempts.
2nd and long, they line up and rush 3. Crum dumps it down to Armstead, runs it up to about the 25.
It's going to be close.
It'll be very close to a first down for Ottawa. Get to about the 25 and a half, and they say he did. The sticks do move, and the Red Blacks along with them. But the Rider player slow to get up.
This is a nice effort from Rock Armstead. First of all, having sort of a sense of where that first down marker is when he catches that football, that he knows he's got to fight for that extra yard or 2. Took a peek at the sideline right away after he was brought down.
Saskatchewan getting a short break coming into this and getting a Red Black team at home. The bye. There's Amari Henderson, the injured corner for the Riders, who gets an escort off. Injured on that play.
Yeah, challenging stretch of the schedule, no doubt, for Saskatchewan. Rod, 2nd trip to the Eastern time zone in 3 weeks, and making this one on a short week. Quick turnaround, as you alluded to.
And just like getting the Red Blacks coming off a bye, they got the Alouettes coming off a bye 2 weeks ago. So not a part of the scheduling I'm sure Corey Mace adores. Nonetheless, they play the games. They're down by 4. It's an Ottawa football at the Red Black 25, 7-3. Crum with time completes it to Daniel Oladejo. That's his first catch of the night. He had one earlier negated by a penalty. One of the young receivers, young Canadians for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Yeah, Oladejo taken by Ottawa in the 2nd round, end of the 2nd round, 2023. Out of University of Ottawa. He's going to get a little more opportunity to play here with Pendleton likely out of the lineup.
Back running at 2 on a 2nd down and short, and getting enough again for another Ottawa first down up across the Red Black 35 is Rock Armstead. But you got Oladejo, you got Nick Mardner, Keaton Rudling. Good Canadian receiving talent on this Ottawa team.
Oladejo is one of those guys who really kind of popped at the 2023 CFL Combine. Just, I think the thing that caught most people's eye was just, this is a very competitive guy.
Out it goes, and caught on the run is Jalen Ackland, who takes a hit, but quickly gets another first down up across the 45 for the Red Blacks.
Like the read here is they had the similar backfield motion with Ackland kind of going back and forth in the backfield before releasing out on a swing. Last time when they showed that, it ended up being a pass over the middle to Dom Rhymes. This time, Saskatchewan maybe recognizing it, taking away the deep pass, but leaving Ackland wide open for a first down pickup.
The Ottawa 47 now. A 1st and 10. Red Blacks. And this very low-scoring game was 3-3 at the half. It's 7-3 now. That's it. Ottawa leading. Oladejo gets himself another catch. Suddenly he's getting some business now, and a 2nd and short coming up. Close to midfield for Ottawa.
Red Blacks putting together what has honestly been one of the better sustained drives of this ball game so far. We've talked a lot about the defensive struggle. Red Blacks just kind of nickel and diming their way to first downs here.
2nd and 4. And Armstead has the 4, and he has more. So Ottawa's offense, on a night where offenses struggled along against these defenses, finally has something going to work here. A 10-yard pickup after the catch for Rock Armstead.
Yeah, you see Armstead with the free release out to the flat on the right side. The blocks are set up for him, essentially a screenplay with that wall of receivers. Hardy, Rhymes, Mardner, all doing a good job taking on their men. Armstead sets it up, cuts inside to pick up another Red Blacks first down. Nice execution there.
Devontae Dedman in at running back and then heads out to the slot. Backfield clears and goes the other way to Acklin. And more good yards after the catch. Jalen Acklin taken down, but suddenly Ottawa's offense, led by Dustin Crum, is coming to life here. A gain of 14 more yards as they get into that Saskatchewan zone.
Yeah, well, and I think part of what you're seeing here is a string of plays that allow Dustin Crum to be in a real comfort zone. You're not asking him to read anything. He knows exactly where the ball is going on different variations from their screen package. This time going to Jalen Acklin, getting the offensive lineman out in front of him. 6
straight completions for Dustin Crum, who's 13 of 20 for 128. And ran the ball a lot when he first took over for the injured Drew Brown. He has 8 carries for 61 yards. We're throwing a lot now. Play action fake. Takes off to the left. And he throws that one out for Hardy, who's standing just in bounds. He catches it. Looks like he picks up about 4 yards there for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, Hardy out wide is kind of waiting for this one. As you're going to see in the backfield, fullback comes across and releases to the flat. That looks to be the primary receiver, but the Rough Riders get that covered. C.J. Rivas picks up Gosselin in the flat. But they give Hardy a little bit of a cushion there. Crum throws it out there. Get into 2nd and medium.
You knew he'd be paying a bit of a price there. Up into the signage. Faking that handoff and throwing it back for Acklin, and Roland Milligan hangs on long enough to prevent Acklin from getting any further after he caught the ball. One of many great defensive plays for 0 Saskatchewan Milligan.
Yeah, combination of a couple of things. I mean, this is, first of all, what we talked about in terms of discipline from Saskatchewan in this ball game. Milligan is going to stay at home because you're going to see Acklin in the backfield. He's moving around. He's doing different stuff. The flow of the play is coming out to the right. Acklin sneaks out the other way, but you see Milligan already sniffed out what's going on. Seen a bunch of different screen type plays on this drive. He recognized what was coming. Got a good jump on the football. A good job to make that tackle in the open field.
Lewis Ward on to try a field goal for the 5th time in the night. 2 have been blocked, 2 have been good. That'll make it 3 for 5. 3 more on the board for the Red Blacks, who have increased their lead to a full touchdown, which is saying a lot on a night like this. 10-3 Ottawa. Here in the nation's capital after Ottawa had a 10-play, 68-yard drive, resulting in a field goal that puts them 7 points ahead. Shea Patterson back in, faking the handoff and throwing it to Samuel Emelis up at the 45 for a pickup of 5 yards. There have been no touchdowns scored in this game, Dwayne, and the way things are looking time-wise under 5 minutes, looks like Saskatchewan's going to need a touchdown to win this game.
Yeah, certainly, especially the way that Ottawa was able to maintain possession of the football on the last drive. Even if they didn't come out with points, they hurt the Riders with the time that they soaked off the clock.
Shea Patterson, the Rider 46, completes it again to Picton. Another catch for Picton at a 20-yarder the last time out. There's a first down for Saskatchewan, getting closer to midfield.
Darius Pickett has had a big night tonight for Ottawa, particularly here in the second half. In to make the tackle, but not before Mitch Picton picks up the first down. A couple of nice quick passes there from Shea Patterson to move the sticks.
from the 52 and a 1st and 10. Quickly to the right. Caught Emelis across midfield. And good work to spin around and pick up another few yards. It'll be a second and about 3 or 4 coming up here for the Riders.
Well, we talked about Ottawa getting into Dustin Crum's comfort zone with the play calling on the last possession. Looks like Saskatchewan in a very similar mode here for Shea Patterson, just letting them get the ball out quickly. 3-step drop and fire.
It's the 6th straight start for Shea Patterson. The Riders, ever since Trevor Harris's injury, Harris expected to come back soon. That one's caught. That's Myers again in his first night in the CFL, and another first down. The Riders offense coming to life now in the Ottawa zone. A gain of 12.
Again, neither team really pushing the ball downfield here late in the 4th quarter, but finding some success, nickel and diming. Being patient offensively, taking what's given to them.
This will be the last play before the official 3-minute warning. And the heat is on Patterson. Lorenzo Malden chasing him. Rolls out to the left. Throws it downfield. Picked in the closest receiver. McGee is there for Ottawa. It is incomplete. And a second down coming up under 3 minutes. Riders need to drive in for a touchdown. Edmonton tries to get something going after the big win in Saskatchewan last week. Ottawa trying to fire up this crowd at TD Place. Looking to improve to 6-2 and 5-0 at home. 2:32 on the clock. And the Riders essentially need a touchdown. 3 to the right. Shea Patterson looks that way. And deep and caught. Myers with his biggest CFL catch on his opening night. Gets it down to the 5. We got a 1st and goal coming up here for Saskatchewan.
And Myers is just running right down the rail here. Outside release and go. And Patterson drops it in there. Safety Adai is trying to get out to the sideline to help as Myers gets a step on DeAndre Lamont down that sideline. Myers making a heck of a case to try and stay in that lineup.
Is he ever? His biggest catch so far, his first night. 6 catches, 62 yards. That one, 35 yards. It's down to a 1st and goal at the Ottawa 7. And they need the end zone. No team's been there tonight. There's a long, knocked away brilliantly. DeAndre Lamont.
2 receivers out to the short side of the field. You're going to watch Lamont, number 38. A great drive to the football. Looked like that one got through him to the hands of the receiver, but enough of a distraction that Sturts was unable to pull that one in.
So I said knocked away. Actually, no, but yeah, got right in front of it. He went through, intended for Stern. 2nd and goal. Ottawa 7. End zone look. Picton. And Sean Bain is wanting a challenge on this. They want Corey Mace to have the command center take another look.
Well, we'll take a little closer look at this one as Patterson throws this one across the middle. Bain suggesting perhaps that the halfback Bennett Williams may have prevented Picton from getting to the inside where the ball was thrown. But I think that might be a tough sell.
Challenge flag stays in Corey Mace's pocket. 3rd and goal. This could be it for the Riders. Under 2 minutes. Patterson, end zone, touchdown! Sean Bain with the biggest catch of the night for Saskatchewan, because it's the one that's put them a point away from tying this game.
Well, Bain ends up wide open on this one. Decent protection allows Patterson time for this one to develop. Bain bouncing back to the outside, finds himself wide open in the flat.
Little bump there from the injured Kian Schaefer-Baker. Sean Bain The first touchdown for either team on the night. It's a big one for the Riders. And Brett Lother, who pumps through that extra point. And we got a tie ball game with 1:53 to go here in the fourth quarter. Wide open. On a night where it's been tough sledding for the offenses. A big one there for Corey Mason. Sean Bain with the only touchdown of this game, and it's allowed Saskatchewan to tie the Red Blacks late. Ottawa either been tied or Ottawa led most of the way in this game, but back to a tie. And 1:53 in the clock. Devontae Dedmon with the ball at the 10. Here the hitting going on, and Dedmon nearly tripped up, and a flag comes out. You could hear the hitting, but you saw Ryder in coverage stick a leg out on Dedmon, who nearly tripped, and shortly after a flag did come out. And a player is down for Saskatchewan.
A big collision over there. And kind of the initial point of attack on the return. You're going to see Baldonado coming down in coverage. Just a big collision there. I believe that
During the
was
return, tripping.
Pickett.
Saskatchewan number 26. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Ottawa.
Say 10 to Haka Baldonado. Let's have another look at how Sean Bain got so wide open on that game-tying touchdown.
Yeah, and it's kind of a 2-on-2 situation out to this side of the field. Keep an eye on the inside receiver, Mitch Picton. It goes through the inside shoulder of the halfback Williams. Both defenders end up occupied essentially by Picton. No one available with Williams down on the play. No one's there to go out to the outside to cover Sean Bain, who ends up wide open. The game-tying touchdown.
And the fourth touchdown of the season for Bain. The other three came in the first game way back in week 1 in Edmonton, when he really went off in the second half. And it's pretty timely to get his fourth of the season to make it a 10-10 tie. The applause you hear as Haka Baldonado is up. Global player, originally from Rome, Italy, played his college football at Pittsburgh. And woozy as he's helped off the field too, and a big collision with the Darius Pickett on that kickoff.
We saw Baldonado earlier as one of the leaders to the wedge on the Saskatchewan kickoff cover team. Had a big play himself to blow up a return earlier, but obviously took the worst of that collision.
Haba Baldonado. Excuse me. Dustin Crum. Last drive, 8 for 8, 67 yards compared to everything else he'd done tonight. And a drive that ended with a field goal that made it 10-3 for lack of touchdowns. Almost made it look comfortable for Ottawa, but anything but now as he is sacked. Late flag comes out. Micah Johnson coming in to take Crum down. And then the flag came out.
Holding. Ottawa number 61. Penalties decline. Second down.
On the 5th sack of the season for the sack leader for the Riders, big Micah Johnson, the veteran out of Kentucky.
You see Micah Johnson from his D tackle spot. Remaining very productive from his D tackle spot now in his 9th season.
A lot of strong tackles in the Canadian Football League, and I'm sure he would rank among the stronger ones. Here's Crum again, 2nd and 16. It's intercepted by the interceptions leader of the CFL. Roland Milligan has another number 6 leading the way, and this is his biggest pick because it could set up the Riders to win this game.
Here you can see him drop in coverage. Eyes on the quarterback, sees the Ackland route coming towards the middle. He's watching it all the way. Just able to step in front. And add to his league-leading interception tally. Now it's all about ball security for Shea Patterson, Frankie Hickson, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Rider football at the Ottawa 31. Hickson has it. Breaks free to the right. Trying to break tackles coming up as Bennett Williams to limit him to about a 2-yard gain. So second down and long coming up. 1:10 on the clock. And Brett Lawther, you see in the background, warming up. He has yet to attempt a field goal.
As soon as I saw that dig, I was like,
since he got that one late in the first half to tie it up at 3.
The Ottawa defense has got to be going after the football here to try and create a turnover. Again, for Saskatchewan, it's all about ball security, low-risk play. You see the stat right there on Brett Lawther. You're currently in a position to have this guy give you the lead and maybe win the game. I think you're pretty comfortable with that when you're Corey Mason, the Riders.
When it matters most, he has been clutch. It matters a whole lot right now in a 2nd and 8.
Just set it up in the middle of the field.
Center it up, 1:06 on the clock. So still lots of time for the Red Blacks. This is far from a walk-off here, which is something, by the way, that Lawther had back in week 2 in Hamilton, and a bizarre ending and them picking up the victory for the Riders over the Ticats, part of a 4-0 start for Saskatchewan. So this, you put down around the 37. Longest on the year is 49 for Lawther. He's 20 at 26. This is clutch time now with under a minute to go, clock ticking. He said Red Blacks will still have some time, but first Saskatchewan wants that lead for the first lead of the night for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 10 quick points here in the 4th quarter. It's a 13-10 ball game for the visiting Riders.
field goal.
Consistent operation. Lawther is holder, the punter Adam Corsack, long snapper Jorgen Hughes.
.45 seconds now, and the Red Blacks going to have to get the ball close enough for Lewis Ward, at the very least, to tie this game. Tell you, for a game that it's had a lot of interesting turns, for one where we were waiting for the first points to be scored until the final minute of the first half.
Yeah, they've made it entertaining. Close battles, some big plays. Not necessarily many of them on offense, but certainly defensively and on special teams. The most recent, Roland Milligan's league-leading 6th interception of the season to set up the go-ahead Brett Lawther field goal.
10 points by Saskatchewan in a minute 8 seconds after having only 3 in all the time before then.
Hey, watch the white, watch the white.
The go-ahead 3 set up by the interception by Roland Milligan. Lawther careful to make sure this stays in play. Gets to Devontae Dedman. 25, 30, 35. To about the 37. 38 seconds left on the clock. That much time for Dustin Crum to work the Red Blacks close enough for Lewis Ward. As Milligan comes back here. Tough to throw it at that guy. It's 6 times this season now. It's ended up in his hands. Passes thrown his way.
Well, that might be the last instruction on the sideline. Your read is whatever side 0 is on. Throw away from him. But Ottawa had success moving the football, relying on a lot of screen passes, short passes, high percentage things, again, where Crum didn't really have a read to make. Now with the amount of yardage you need to make relative to the time, that's not going to be an option.
Here we go. 38 seconds and counting. Crum. So off, short pass. Jalen Athlon afterwards. He breaks the tackle. He gets it up to around the 44. 31 seconds to go.
Obviously, for Saskatchewan defensively, you're just trying to keep everything in front of you as they just did. You'll allow that base check down that you can come forward and make the tackle. Ottawa's offside.
Flags come out for the snap of the ball.
Offside. Ottawa number 2. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, 5 big yards at this stage of the game. 26 seconds on the clock. Trying to work their way down to a reasonable field goal situation for Lewis Ward, and they will now scrimmage in a 2nd and long back just inside their 39. Red Blacks have yet to lose at home this season. Graham has it knocked at the line of scrimmage, and a chance for an interception just beyond the reach of Brian Cox coming back, but still could be down to 1 play now in a 3rd and 8, 21 seconds on the clock.
I think it may have been Malik Carney who came on a stunt and got a piece of that one. You're going to see Carney on this one loop around into the gap and get his hands on that one. Push from Caleb Sanders in the middle to occupy a man. Carney, the former Tiger Cat.
This is it. 3rd and 8. Ottawa 39. 21 seconds. 4-man rush from Cox. First down, Hardy. Big catch. 16 seconds to go. Not over yet. They've got it down to the Rider 50.
Gutsy throw here from Dustin Crum in a clutch situation, and what a catch from Justin Hardy to go up and get that one.
16 seconds and counting. Rider 50. Quickly left, caught, and down. Nick Mardner a few yards closer. 8 seconds to go.
Yeah, an opportunity here to run one quick play, and then they got to get Lewis Ward out there. Be a 52-yard field goal attempt right now.
Ward's longest of the season is a 51. They run the ball, and they definitely get it down to his range. Centered up at the 40. Looking at about a 47-yard try for Lewis Ward, who hasn't missed the uprights, but 2 of them have been blocked, and he's made 3 others.
But and you got to be a little nervous right now if you're Lewis Ward. The rest of this field goal unit, because now the other ones weren't particularly long attempts. Now you're looking at a longer attempt that is typically going to have a lower trajectory coming out. The longer attempts are more at risk of getting blocked. So I don't know what you say about this one, other than guys up front have got to block it up, step hard to the inside gap.
To your point, this is a 47-yard try. The blocks were at 38 yards away and 22 yards away, the one Miles Brown block.
Yeah, on the longer attempts, you are typically, as you get to the end of the limits of your kicker's range, obviously in his trajectory, he's sacrificing a little bit of height for distance when he strikes that football, thus increasing the risk of having the kick blocked.
47 yards. Lewis Ward had a couple of walk-off winners this season. He had one against Hamilton back in week 4. He had one a few weeks later against the Elks in Edmonton. Walk-off wins, the first 2 of his career. This is just a force a tie, force overtime. Otherwise, the home winning streak ends. It's out. It's good. It's 13-13, and this game is not over yet. But the 4th quarter is. And once again, we have over overtime in the CFL. What drama at the end. First, a field goal by Lawler, and then Ward. Tie game. Getting ready for the third overtime game this season. We just had one 2 weeks ago in Toronto against Winnipeg. A refresher on the rules. Teams will play a maximum of 2 mini games. Each team gets to scrimmage from the opponent's 35. After any touchdown scored, they must go for 2, and the team scoring the most points in the mini games, the second one only if necessary, will earn 2 points in the standings. Otherwise, if it's still tied after the 2 mini games, it remains a tie as a final. Now the coin toss.
Okay, man, welcome to overtime. Saskatchewan, you're the visiting team. You're going to call the coin toss. LCF is heads. The club logo is tails. What's your call? Tails. Tails. Saskatchewan is called tails. It is a tail. You can have offense or defense first, or choose an end. Defense. Defense first. Where end are we going to play at? We're going to play down there? Okay, Saskatchewan's on defense first. Good luck, man.
As spoken by the referee, Tim Croker, and they always want to go second. We saw that a couple of weeks ago with Winnipeg and Toronto. Advantage Argos, and they ultimately won.
You want to know what you need when you put your offense on the field, plain and simple.
In that case, 2 weeks ago, it was a missed field goal by Winnipeg, and then the Argos knew they could just set up for a field goal to win it, which is what they did. And you saw out there in the coin toss, the kickers, prominent. Lawler and Ward, and such a big time for them. Right at the end of this game for the kickers and clutch field goals to put us in this situation. Bob Dice and the Red Blacks, still a chance to remain perfect at home. They come into this game at 4-0 on home field and a record of 5-2. And the Riders, they're losing 2 straight games after a 5-1 start, trying to get back in the win column and overtake first place alone in the West. And both teams can still challenge, by the way, in this overtime session. So starting at the Rider 35, the Ottawa REDBLACKS going first on offense. Dustin Crump. Overtime begins. 1st and 10. Crump. Look to his right. And it's caught by Rhymes at the 10, just inside. So a big play for the Red Black offense right out of the gate to get them down around 1st and goal. It will be. It's inside the 10.
Yeah, and I would contend that this is a play that's basically been set up by what Ottawa has done, or maybe hasn't done, through the second half of this football game, which is push the ball down the field vertically. I think you've got Saskatchewan now sitting up, anticipating a lot of screens, checkdowns, that sort of thing, and open up Dominic Rhymes a little bit further downfield.
They mark it at the 9, 1st and goal, overtime. Rock Armstead, and brilliantly coming in is Micah Johnson to tackle him for a loss. Big Micah Johnson taking down Rock Armstead.
Yeah, when Micah Johnson gets a hold of you, you're not going anywhere. No. As Rock Armstead found out, takes a handoff, tries to make a cut, but Johnson penetrating into the backfield, wraps him up, pulls him down. Human bear trap.
He is that. We've seen many examples of that over the years. For Micah Johnson, his 11th season out of the University of Kentucky. So a loss of 2, 2nd and goal at the 11. Crump looking to the end zone, but taking off instead inside the 5. Touchdown! Dustin Crump does it again with his feet.
Deja vu. Crump didn't like what he saw in the pass game. A very comfortable tucking the ball and running. Takes off here, smells goal line, takes a shot as he gets close, but has the wherewithal to stretch that ball out in front across the goal line before he stumbles out of bounds.
Not his first overtime touchdown. He scored one against Winnipeg in his first CFL start a year ago, and that was a walk-off winner for Crum and the Red Blacks, who went to overtime in back-to-back games a year ago with Crum at quarterback. So he has experience in these situations, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, he got thrown into the fire last year, his first couple of games, as you said.
Mentioned you get a touchdown, teams have to go for 2. This is not a choice. Trying to make it an 8-point lead. The fake, the lob, no, too high for the intended receiver, Rhymes couldn't bring that one down. It was high. It's a 6-point game now. And the pressure goes to the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Again, back to the point of the coin toss. Saskatchewan won. They choose to go second. Now they know. Obviously, they can't settle for a field goal. They're playing 3-down football to score a touchdown here.
And if they can find the end zone, one would assume they would choose to go for one. If they could, but they can't.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Eventually, they have to go for two. So. So from the Red Black 35 now, Shea Patterson throwing and completing it to Samuel Emelis. Emelis has it down near the 25. So close to a 10-yard pickup for the Riders.
Yeah, Emelis coming into this week as Saskatchewan's leading receiver. Third-year man. It's a grab on that one, and that'll move the sticks. So, again, playing 3-down football, that gives them 3 more chances, 3 more downs to work with right here offensively.
So 10 yards exactly for Samuel Emelis. First overtime possession for the Roughriders. Down 6 points after the Crum touchdown. Taking the handoff to Hickson with time. Takes a look into the end zone. Coverage there. DeAndre Lamont right there with Samuel Emelis. It's incomplete.
Yeah, it looked for a moment there like Emelis might have had a step. But DeAndre Lamont moving over to play that boundary corner spot early this season. With injuries in the secondary to Brandon Dandridge and Money Hunter. Lamont doing a fine job there in coverage.
2nd and 10. Red Black 25. Patterson over the middle. Coming across. Myers had a good CFL debut. But he picks up 5 there. Davion Taylor makes sure he goes no further. So we have a 3rd down and 5 coming up. And as Dwayne talked about, the Riders know what they need. They can't kick a field goal. They have to go.
And that's a great play in the open field by Davion Taylor. As it looked for a moment like Myers might be able to turn the corner, outrun him, and at least pick up the 1st down. But Taylor tracks him down. Creates this tough do-or-die situation for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
The Riders need about 5 yards, call it 4, just inside the 20, about the 19. 3rd down. Here we go. Patterson knocked away. Ball game over. Sean Bain wanted a flag. Corey Mace is throwing his challenge flag out. So not over yet. Could be decided by what the command center sees.
And at the very least, worth looking at when you're Corey Mace.
Saskatchewan is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
And I mean, this is a play where it ends up being a contested catch. So on that premise, Corey Mace is going to throw the flag. But I mean, the fact is, absolutely nothing to lose for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at this stage, challenging this play. You have to. And we'll see if Elijah McGee was there early on the breakup. Left arm is over the shoulder of Sean Bain. The question is the timing of when it arrives there. Ball's on route. I think it's a clean play.
The replay official is Tom Valesi. It's in the hands of the command center. Either this game is over or Saskatchewan will have a 1st down and continue in this first overtime game with the Riders needing 6 points. At least. What a decision for the command center in overtime in Ottawa. Here's Tim Croker with the announcement.
After review by the command center, pass interference, Ottawa number 29. The penalty is half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
Elijah McGee sees it overturned, and they call this pass interference.
And things suddenly get more interesting. I suspect the argument there is that he may have tied up the arms. Couldn't really see what his right arm was doing to Sean Bain.
Corey Mace quick with that challenge flag, understandably. Nothing to lose. It's down to the 10. First and goal, Riders. Needing the touchdown. Patterson. End zone. He's got it. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Amelis. They get their 6. And they tie this game again, and they get a chance to go for 2 to win it.
Absolutely clutch throw here from Shea Patterson. Given the opportunity to keep this drive alive, rolling to his left. You'll see Amelis working, fakes inside, breaks outside, beautiful route from the third-year receiver. Safely down in the end zone to tie this one up, and now it's all about this 2-point attempt.
A game so dominated early by the defenses. Low scoring. Interesting twists and turns right up until the end of regulation. And now it could all end here on a 2-point try by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. After all that, still a chance to end their 2-game losing streak and win this ball game. For 2 and the game. Patterson bobbled, drops. And another round of overtime comes off the fingertips of Sean Bain. We play on, and we see a challenge flag coming out for Bob Dice.
Yeah, Bob Dice approached the officials. He's got the red flag in his hand. He hasn't actually thrown it yet.
Had it there. I was thinking, what advantage could he have except for a better place to start the second overtime if there was a penalty? So he had it at the ready. He did not throw it. And the second overtime will begin.
The action moves to the other end of the field. This time Saskatchewan is on offense first.
And this time, as you talked about, the Red Blacks are the ones that'll know what they need, depending on what the Riders do here. It was 3-3 at the half. These two have been close most of the way. Second overtime, 1st and 10. Patterson, and that one is caught, and out of bounds is Bain after a pickup of about 8 yards.
And not a lot of home run shots being taken tonight, but the Riders haven't been afraid to throw those sideline routes, even out to the wide side of the field. The Red Blacks sitting back a little bit. This one will put them in second and manageable.
Down to the Ottawa 28. Call it 7, 2nd and 3. Shea Patterson throwing again to the right. Caught by Bain. Back to back. Those outs by Bain, and he picks up a first down.
Sean Bain kind of working the sideline. He's the single receiver as they go with a tight end to the right side. Just a quick out in front of the defender. Patterson getting the ball out quickly, not even giving DeAndre Lamont an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Down to the 21.
We'll wait to see now. A couple of balls caught in front of him. Will that make Lamont more aggressive, and do they try to go over his head?
Faking the handoff. Looking to the left. And that is caught by Myers. No, out of bounds. Just wasn't able to keep a foot down. Second down coming up. These teams have both known a lot of drama this year. Both have won with walk-off field goals. Gone down to the wire. Ottawa did in its first game against Winnipeg after a long weather delay. Saskatchewan did in week 2 in Hamilton. Here they are in overtime, the second OT, and the second and 10. Play clock almost down to 0. Throwing is Patterson, and that one is before Hickson. So we have a third and 10 coming up, and Lawther will be coming on to see if he can give the Riders a 3-point lead.
And you'll see Patterson with pressure coming as he's backing up as he throws this football. And as a result, it falls just short of the intended receiver, Hickson, heading for the flat.
So the ball will go down at the 29. Lawther looking like the hero in regulation when in the final minute he hit the field goal to put the Riders ahead by 3. And the Red Blacks were able to come back and tie it and force overtime. Lawther up and through, and the Riders have an overtime lead again. This time, excuse me, their first overtime lead. They came back to tie it again, 22-19. So it's on their defense as Dustin Crum and the Red Blacks will scrimmage from the Saskatchewan 35.
Well, if the defense can create a turnover, that would immediately win it for the Riders.
Don't hear the crowd as much. It's a little quieter, but it seems to be more tension than anything else.
Yeah.
In an uncommon situation right now, Red Blacks trailing by 3. Win, lose, or draw. What happens to Ottawa here? Pressure, Crum, and ultimately Malik Carney comes in with a big sack.
Well, absolutely huge. This is on the short list of things that just can't happen. Micah Johnson, again, denting that offensive line, just bull rushes through the right guard, Bladek. Be the first one to get to Crum, but you don't want to take that sack, as right now, if you had to attempt a field goal, you're looking at about 54 yards on a field goal.
Ottawa's challenging the previous play for roughing the passer. The play will be reviewed.
So Bob Dice does ultimately use that challenge flag. There was a lot of pressure on Crum, but they sacked him for a huge loss of 12 yards.
Here you'll take a look. Johnson reaches up high. He's got the front of the shoulder pads. May have grazed the side of the face mask. See here, not sure if Carney, possibly with the left hand, may have caught him up high. But it looked pretty innocuous on the initial look.
Is this one of those we got nothing to lose challenges?
Well, yeah, I think it is. You gotta take a shot, because what just happened from an Ottawa perspective, short of a turnover that ends the game,
well,
is about the worst thing that could happen.
And this makes a different. I mean, you think about play calling now. Assuming this is not overturned, that the call stands and there's no penalty, do you play for a tie here? Do you play just to tie the game now with so far to go?
I genuinely think you do.
And that could be facing Bob Dice and the Red Blacks now, who seems they would be fortunate to get close enough just to kick 3 to tie the game. Here's the ruling.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's second down.
Second down, but this would be a long try for Lewis Ward. It's at the 47. Be about a 54-yard try unless they can get it a little bit closer. So strategically, you're thinking win, you want to get close to the first down, but they just want to get it a little bit closer and centered up to have a chance to tie the game. Pressure coming! Crum loses the ball as he's going down, trying to get rid of it. And this game is over. Saskatchewan's defense stands up. Crum goes down, and the Riders have lost at home for the first time this season. And Adam O'Clair with the ball. Ex-Ottawa REDBLACK in his first start in green and white. What a finish for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who took any thought of a field goal, even to tie it, out of the game with back-to-back pressures on Dustin Crum. And they're 6-3.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
There you see the linebacker. So Kobe McLean, opportunity to get in the lineup with the Jameer Thurman injury on as a backup. There you see McLean coming from his linebacker position to get in on the play. And as soon as the first sack happened, there you see the initial contact by McLean diving into the quarterback. Took his feet, affecting Crum's ability to throw the ball or try to escape. And I think Crum lost it because he knows he's trying to throw it. He's got to get it out of his hands.
No choice at that point, just to keep the ball in play. So he gets rid of it in behind and ends up being recovered by an old teammate, Adam O'Clair. Now, the command center was reviewing. So did I say this game was over? Did I actually say that?
Well, the thing I wonder about is you saw the way that McLean slid in.
Okay. Well, you'd think I'd learned my lesson, because it isn't necessarily over. Let's hear what Tim Croker has to say.
After automatic review by the command center, roughing the passer, Saskatchewan number 57. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That look by Corey May says, you got to be kidding me.
Well, I think that's the same look that's on the face of the kids and fans who had already stormed the field at the end of the game. And there you see, watch how McLean hits below the strike zone when he comes through here. He gets cut blocked and is sliding in. You know, we saw the same thing called on Miles Brown in the first half on a play where he's not diving in to try and make the tackle that way, but kind of inadvertently goes low. The officials don't rule on intent. They are just ruling on what the hit is, and it's a hit below the knee, which constitutes roughing the passer. So the REDBLACKS live to fight another down, but also, Rod, get some of the field position back that they had lost through the sacks.
And they get a first down. I mean, this is just, this finish, wow, just bizarre. I mean, when it, a couple of times, look, the Riders had it, and that's the Kobe McLean who's the one that got flagged. But the way they have it right now, down to the 33, and will be a first and 10, 32-yard line.
It's the game that wouldn't end.
It really is. Now, being a first and 10, mentioning before, the best realistic shot before that last play for the REDBLACKS was see if they can set up a field goal
try
to tie
to get
the
into
game.
more reasonable field goal range.
Walk away with a tie.
This changes everything.
It really does. First and 10 at the Rider 32. They play on. We talked about fans coming on the field. There were players on both sides.
Oh, there were kids
exchanging pleasantries. I mean, this was looking
people
like
trying to get autographs.
a typical.
Baby in a stroller down there.
The baby's like, what's going on? I thought this thing was done. It's not. And Ottawa is very much alive for an opportunity to win it again, let alone kick the field goal to settle for the tie. Because it's a 1st and 10 at the Rider 32 after that penalty. So they hand off. And they get down a little bit closer to the 25, about a 5-yard pickup for Rock Armstead.
And I think the back-to-back sacks probably rattled Ottawa a little bit as you see them come out with a run play here, as they don't want to give up that field position again.
Dustin Crum went back in the previous 2 plays and was under siege at just the worst possible time when they wanted to at least maintain field goal range. They're in that now. It's a 2nd and 4 after that pickup by Armstead. Passing now, passing quickly, completing it to Khalil Pimpleton. First down inside the 15 of the Riders. Here come the Red Blacks.
Well, Khalil Pimpleton, who had been sidelined with a hand injury since earlier in this half, coming from the right side of the screen there, you see him crossing underneath. A couple of quick moves to pick up a couple extra yards in the first down for Pimpleton.
One penalty has changed everything here. If they get a touchdown, they win. Close to a pick. Marcus Sales coming in.
Yeah, Sales was all over this one.
That could have ended it.
Here you have Sales sitting back in coverage, and watch. He is seeing the quarterback all the way. Pimpleton comes inside. I think Sales made his break before Pimpleton did.
Oh, my goodness. That was game.
Yeah, that would have ended it.
That would have. But Sales hung on there. What else these two have in store? Overtime. Rider 14. Caught inside the 10. That's Rhymes. Dominic Rhymes. And we got a 3rd down coming up.
Well, now you have the, call it less than ideal situation. Fortunately, they didn't get much closer because that would have created a tough angle on the field goal, but short field goal from the hash mark.
Remember, Lewis Ward, even on a short field goal try, has been blocked. But if he gets this, there will be no winner on the night. It'll end in a tie. Double overtime.
The tee offset towards the middle a little bit.
Ward up and through for the field goal that ends this game in a 22-22 tie. Can I say definitively the game is over? Can I say that?
I think we're safe, Rod.
We're going to wait a little bit longer, but no one seems satisfied by a tie. Understandably so.
It's like a bit of an issue between the benches.
Little skirmish going on here. Of course, in the Eastern stadiums, the benches on the same side of the field. Not a lot of space between them. There's been a little conversation. But I mean, I don't know what to make of it. There's so many different things that we've almost forgotten about now. Give me your final thoughts on a game that ends in a 22-22 tie.
The most exciting low-scoring game I can remember seeing in a long time. A lot of big plays, a lot of drama in this one. Probably some frustration for both coaches.
Well, both had reason to think that they could win.
Yeah.
Or should have won.
Yeah, a lot of twists and turns, but it is probably some level of karma that this one ends in a tie.
Low scoring much of the way through. 2 late field goals in the first half, 3-3 at the half, and a furious Bob Dice still talking afterwards. But the bottom line is the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the losing skid, but not with a win. They improved to 5-3-1. The Ottawa REDBLACKS still have not lost in home field this year, but not as satisfying a way, a result. A field goal chosen in overtime to end this with a tie. and they improved to 5-2-1. Thank you for watching. An interesting game, to say the least, in the nation's capital. Sports Center is next. Good night, everyone.